Everybody, it's Sean here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today in another episode of VidGamiac vs. Import. We are doing chapters 5 through 7 on our second playthrough of Steins Gate. Alright, so to continue the themes from last time, you only want to answer text messages from the person with two Japanese characters in their name, so keep that in mind. And you also want to ignore any other text messages and phone calls throughout this playthrough. So keep those two notes in mind. There are a few exceptions to those, and I'll point them out as we go along. But anyways, so we're going to start up with the chapter right here. You're going to get a phone call. Make sure you ignore it. So whenever you get a phone call, just hit the A button. And sometimes the phone call will just, your character will just pick it up in the fast forward. So pretty much it's story-based. So here's an example of a text message we have to skip. So by skipping a text message, just open up your phone to see who it's from, and then just close it without opening the actual message, and you should be good. So keep that in mind. Don't open any text messages not from this person right here. So this is an example of a text message from this person that you have to read all of them. So whenever you get a message from this person, you have to open the text message, and if there are choices, you have to make a choice. Like that one, there was only one choice, so I picked that one. And that second text message right there was an example of a text message with no choices and one you just have to open and read. So you're going to get two of them after your first one with a choice right there. So you get three text messages from that person. First one has a choice, and then the next two don't have choices. But you still have to open the text messages without any choices. The reason for that is because he stops texting you if you don't read his messages, which will hurt you later on because you need to read all of his messages in order to continue the story and to get achievements and all of that good stuff. So anyways, that's pretty much the mantra of the second playthrough throughout all of the chapters, and if you stick to those two very key rules, you should be good. Always answer text messages from that person and ignore all text and phone calls from anyone else. And that's pretty much it. If you need any extra help finding where the messages are or what you have to do to get through the game, just watch the rest of the video and I'll point them out along the way. This video is going to be pretty long because we do have to cover 3 chapters, and one of those chapters we have to play 3 times, which I'll explain later on. Alright, so after about 5 minutes of fast forwarding and doing nothing, you're going to get all these Japanese symbols right here, all that kanji. So you are basically coming towards the end of the chapter, and you have to make a specific choice in order to continue the game. If you don't, the game ends. So once you get this text field at the computer office, you want to make sure you hit the X button to bring up your phone, and then keep hitting A to send this message. That will let you continue the story. If you don't do that, the story comes to an abrupt end. That's how this game works. Each of the chapters after this has one of these, where if you don't make a certain phone call or text message, the game will just abruptly end. So after you do make that choice, you want to make sure you make a save. We're going to save this in save file number 6. We're going to be coming to this save a lot, so make sure you remember which save it is. So once you keep that in mind, we're going to fast forward here, and there's going to be choices we have to make, like this one right here. We're going to get a text message from that person that we're supposed to pick up all the text messages from. Once you get this one, you want to make the choice that's one Japanese character, so the second choice in the text message field. Make sure you send a response to that, and then you should be good. And this person's going to text us a total of about 3 times throughout this chapter, and we have to make all of those choices. So here he is texting us again. So for this text message, you want to make sure you pick the third choice, which is all the way at the bottom. A little hard to see, but scroll all the way down and you should be good. And he should text us, I think, another 3rd time, and then we should be good for that. Alright, so after that transition card, we're going to be talking to Maid Girl right here, and then he's going to text us for the 3rd time. Make sure you open up the text and pick the first choice, which is the super long one, and then send that message off. So I think that's the last time he texts us in this chapter. So just keep fast forwarding. You get to the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, I guess, and you meet Dennis Rodman, and then you get another text from him with an attachment. Make sure you open that up and then go through all of the attachments in that text message, but that one doesn't have any choices, but you do have to look at all the images in order to work towards that achievement. As soon as you read that text, you want to load up your save we just made, so that should send you all the way back to the start of the chapter with the fat guy, and now you have to go through the chapter again. This time, every time he texts you, you're going to make different choices. So here's the first text again, and this time you want to pick the first option, so the one that's multiple Japanese characters. And you're going to have to do this 3 times, so you have to go through this chapter 3 times, making different decisions every time he texts you. The reason for this is we need to collect all of the backgrounds for an achievement, because at the end, whenever you finish the 3rd text message choice tree, he will text you a photo attachment, which will be a phone background. Like, after making that choice, he'll text you an attachment, and that will give you the last phone background you need, which should give you an achievement for 50 gamer score to get all of the frog phone backgrounds, and the frogs are from Chaos Head, which is a pretty cool Easter egg. After you get that achievement, make sure you load from your save once again. So after you do that, that should put you back at the beginning of the chapter, and now you should make the choices that will actually progress the story instead of giving you the backgrounds, because we already got them. So for the first text message, what you want to do is you want to make sure you pick the first choice. So do that again, and that should set you up on the right path to continue the story. Alright, so more fast forwarding later, and eventually he should text you a 2nd time right here once you meet Hat Girl, and this time you want to pick the first option. So last time I think we picked the 3rd option in order to get the phone background. This time we're going to pick the first option, which should continue the story quest tree, and that'll let us finish the chapter instead of just getting phone background images. Alright, after a little while, we're going to meet up with Maid Girl again in this little plaza. He's going to text you one more time, and this time you want to make the choice, which is the third one. So make sure you send that as a response, and that should be the final one of this chapter. He will text you one more time later on, and you do have to read that, or else he doesn't text you anymore in the later chapter. So he's going to text you right there once you get to the tournament, and make sure you open up that text and read it, or else you will mess up the achievement. So keep that in mind. And that's pretty much it for the rest of the chapter, so just keep playing until you have to make the last critical decision, which takes place once you get to Maid Girl's hotel and you get that scene with her. And once you get to this line of text, what you want to do is you want to hit the X button to bring up the phone, and then the A button to send this text message, which will let you progress in the story. And that's pretty much all that you can really mess up. Hopefully I helped you along the way. Don't forget to check back soon for more parts where we will cover chapter 8 and some other chapters, and that's all there is to it.